all right. Shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I want to say, call Holoyam Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai Bahashim Rakah Kwitash. All right. Shalom, shalom. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone who have taught me this truth and who rule well in this truth. Shalom to the 144,000 and the hopeful elect of the nation of Israel that is scattered throughout the four corners of the earth. Peace and mercy unto you, you so-called Negroes, you Latinos, and you Native Americans. You are the true Hebrew Israelites that the Bible speaks of. You are the true chosen people of the book of the Bible. All right, we are the Hebrew Israelites. We come week in and week out to prophesy the downfall and the destruction of America. All right, because in the Bible, America is known as Babylon the Great, or the great daughter of Babylon, or Mystery Babylon. All right, and according to biblical prophecy, Mystery Babylon, all right, the great daughter of Babylon, aka America, is going to be destroyed and completely wiped off and eradicated from off the face of this earth in this third world war. All right, now we're already in World War III. It just hasn't been officially declared yet. All right, in your mainstream media. All right, but all the nations of this earth are at war right now, man. All right, you got war, conflicts, and tensions happening all throughout the four corners of the earth, man. All right, now we have been prophesying this week in and week out for years, man. For years. All right, and now it's finally come to pass. All right, to the point we don't have to say too much anymore. All right, the prophecies are speaking for themselves. All right, they are speaking very loud and very clear, man. All right, the prophecies are backing us up, man. You know, nuclear missiles are getting ready to fly and zoom through the sky, man, and hit this place you call America. You understand? We don't got too much longer. You understand? All right, Yahweh Shai is getting ready to crack that sky. We got months here, man. We got months. All right, we don't got years and years and years. We don't got 10 years, 9 years, 7 years here, man. We have months here, man. All right, it might be 12 months, it might be 24 months, right? But it's still months, because 2 years ain't a long time, man. That's months, 24 months away. You know, it could be within that time. Now, if the Lord want to make it go longer, then he'll make it go longer. But all the prophecies are speaking for themselves. All right, they're all happening right now, right now, man. All right, matter of fact, let's get that in Matthew 24. All right, because the Lord said, "Look up, for your redemption draweth not." Right. So let's get Matthew 24. I didn't want to start with that, but you know, we gonna get it. America's gonna be destroyed by nuclear fire. All right, talking about God bless America, these damn devils, man. America's gonna be destroyed. All right, and it's gonna be a beautiful thing that is gonna be destroyed. All right, abad babo. All right, so let's get it. All right, this is Matthew. You know what? I start at verse 1. All right. This is Matthew 24 and 1. It says, and Yahweh Shai went out. Yahweh Shai is the true name of the Messiah. All right. Yahweh Shai is the true name of the Messiah. All right. The Heavenly Father's name and the name of the Son, the name of the Messiah, both come from the Hebrew language. All right. When you say Jesus, that's Greek. That's not the true name of the Lord. That's a false God. That's a false name you're calling upon. You understand? The name of the Messiah is Yahweh Shai. All right. It tells you in Zephaniah, the 3rd chapter, that the Lord's name comes from the Hebrew language. All right. The true Hebrew. All right. The Paleo Hebrew. All right. The Lashawan Kodash. Right. So it says, and Yahweh Shai went out and departed from the temple. And his disciples came to him for to show him the buildings of the temple. And Yahweh Shai said unto them, see ye not all these things? Verily I say unto you, there shall not be left here one stone upon another that shall not be thrown down. Yeah, he was talking about 70 AD. You know, the destruction of Jerusalem. You know, Jerusalem being set on fire, the temple being ransacked. You know, there's something that's known as the Ark of Titus. All right, when they did that during the time of 70 AD, they recorded that. All right, on the Ark of Titus, they have the Romans carrying out the menorah. All right, from the temple. All right, that's documented. That's well documented. All right, it says, verse 2 again, it says, and Yahushua said unto them, see ye not all these things? Verily I say unto you, there shall not be left here one stone upon another that shall not be thrown down. And that shows you that Yahushua was a prophet, man. All right, because he was prophesying right here. He was talking about 70 AD. All right, which didn't happen yet during his time. All right. It says, verse 3, and as he sat upon the Mount of Olives, the disciples came unto him privately, saying, tell us, when shall these things be? And what shall be the sign of thy coming and of the end of the world? Yes, so he said, you know, the disciples asked him, what shall be the signs of thy return? You know, and he's about to lay out the signs of his return. That's how we know Yahushua is getting ready to crack that sky any second, any moment now. All right, any day now. All right, but we know before Yahushua's return, all right, we know that the nuclear destruction has to take place, and before the nuclear destruction takes place, another prophecy has to take place first, man, known as the mark of the beast. All right, the mark of the beast being the RFID microchip. All right, that has to take place. That has to be ushered in and made mandatory all around the earth, globally, man. All right, because what did Yahushua say? All right, the hour of temptation shall come upon all the world. All right, the hour of temptation, talking about the RFID microchip, the mark of the beast. It shall come upon all the world to try them. All right. Matter of fact, I'll get that right after this. All right, because this, you know, you hear about digital IDs, talks about digital IDs every single day, man. All right, every single day. All these people that sit in high places, right? Like your prime ministers, your presidents, your politicians, all right, your governors, your mayor, all right, they're all calling for digital ID because they're all puppets, man. They're lesser illuminaries. They're all puppets. All right. All these people that sit in high places because they're all Freemasons, right? They're all puppets for the elite bankers. They're calling for a digital ID, man, because the elites are trying to usher out that digital ID, man. All right. That's part of their new world order agenda to enslave this entire earth through their technology, which is the RFID microchip, which is the mark of the beast that the Bible speaks of, man. All right. But anyway, let's keep reading. All right. It says, and he sat upon, and it says, and as he sat upon the Mount of Olives, the disciples came unto him privately, saying, tell us, when shall these things be? And what shall be the sign of thy coming and of the end of the world? The end of the world talking about the end of an age. It's not talking about the end of this earth, as in, you got some of these people think that the earth is going to blow up and there's never going to be no more earth again. You know, that's not going to happen. All right. The earth is always going to be here. All right. Because this is where the kingdom of heaven is going to be at. Yahushua is coming back to take what is his, which is this earth. All right. When you read, matter of fact, let's get it. When you read Corinthians, 1 Corinthians, the 15th chapter, all right, the Lord is coming back to put down all rule and authority upon this earth. The Lord Yahushua created this earth for him, by him. He created this earth for himself to rule on. When he comes back, he's taking this earth, what rightfully belongs to him. All right. And he's going to rule on this earth. And all these other nations are going to be slaves to the nation of Israel, man. All right, starting with the Messiah, Hamashiach. All right, his name Yahweh Shai. All right, because first and foremost, it's his kingdom. And he's going to share his kingdom with the elect, the 144,000. He's going to share his throne with the 144,000. All right. So let's get, what did I say I was going to get? 1 Corinthians 15, right? So let's grab it. All right. This is 1 Corinthians, all right, 15 and 24. All right. Now, matter of fact, let me read this verse first, all right, and then I'll read the precept, all right. So it says, "Tell us the signs, tell us when these things shall be, and what shall be the sign of thy coming and of the end of the world," meaning the end of an age, the end of a time period. Because right now, whose world, whose age are we living in? We're living in Esau, Edom's age, the so-called white man's age. All right, he's in his power seat right now. All right, because starting with the elite bankers, all right, the Illuminati, the satanic Illuminati, elite Edomite banking families, they run this earth. All right, this is their world, their age, they're ruling right now. All right, so when is going to be the end of this age? All right, and what are the signs of the end of thy age? All right, so when you read First Corinthians 15 and 20, it says First Corinthians 15 and 24, it says, "Then cometh the end." All right, the end of this age, this current age. Esau, Edom's world, his age, Eon, right? It says, "Then cometh the end, when he shall have delivered up the kingdom to the Most High Yahweh, even the Father, when he shall have put down all rule and all authority and power." So that's what Yahweh Shai is coming back to do, to put down all rule, all authority and power. All right, all these people that claim to have power and authority on earth, starting with the elite bankers, all right, trickling down to your lesser luminaries, like your presidents and prime ministers, your kings of this earth, you know, mayors and politicians and people that sit in high places. All that power and all that rule, the Lord is getting ready to bring down with violence. All right, with great power and violence, man. All right, and this world is going to become Yahweh Shai's. All right, and all these people, all these other nations are going to be under the foot of Yahweh Shai. It's going to be under the foot of the nation of Israel, starting with Yahweh Shai. All right, all these other nations, the Moabites, which today are the Chinese. All right, the Ammonites, which today are the Japanese. All right, the Canaanites, the Cushites, which today are the Ethiopians. All right, the Mizrahites. All right, which today are the Egyptians. All right, they're all going to be our subjects, our slaves and servants in the kingdom of heaven when Yahweh Shai returns. Right? All right. So let's read that again, but let me actually start up more. All right. It says, 1 Corinthians 15 and 20, it says, "But now is Yahweh Shai risen from the dead and become the first fruits of them that slept. For since by man came death, by man came also the resurrection of the dead. For as in Adam all die, even so in Yahweh Shai shall all be made alive." Yeah, so when Yahweh Shai came on this planet Earth as Yahweh Shai, the Messiah, he had to make things right. All right, because if you have deep understanding of the scriptures, you know that Adam, all right, Yahweh Shai in his past life was Adam. All right, and because of Adam, what Adam did, all right, because he fell into that wickedness, all right, now we all died through Adam. We're not immortal anymore, right? But Yahweh Shai fixed that when he died on the cross, man, and shed his blood for the nation of Israel. All right, which is the Negro, Latino, Native American man. All right, now we have life again. He came back to make things right for what he did in his past life in as Adam, man. You see how things work? That's a balance, right? It says, "For since by man came death, by man came also the resurrection of the dead. For as in Adam all died, even so in Yahweh Shai shall all be made alive. But every man in his own order, Yahweh Shai the first fruits, afterward they that are Yahweh Shai's at his coming. Then cometh the end, when he shall have delivered up the kingdom of the Most High, even the Father, when he shall have put down all rule and all authority and power. That's what Yahweh Shai is coming back to do, to put down all rule, all authority and power. All right? You know, no man is going to lift their finger up when Yahweh Shai returns, man. No nation is going to lift their finger, all right, to the nation of Israel, you know, because we're going to be kings, gods, and rulers, bro. They going to be scared shitless of us, man. All right, in the kingdom of heaven. They going to be scared as hell of us, man. We're going to have so much power and glory, all right? Our bodies are literally going to be, you know, our bodies are literally going to shine. We're literally going to give off a glow. We're going to be pure, righteous, immortal, you know? So it says, even the Father, when he shall have put down all rule and all authority and power, for he must reign. That's right. Yahweh Shai must reign. All right. That's what he's coming back to do, to reign and rule this planet Earth with great power and authority and righteousness, man. You understand? All right. It says, when he shall have put down all rule and all authority and power, for he must reign till he has put all enemies under his feet. And who are Yahweh Shai's enemies? All right, all the other nations. That's all right. Take care. All right. I have no money on me. All right, I'm sorry. All right. Take care. All right. So it says, let me read that again. It says, verse 25, for he must reign till he has put all enemies under his feet. All right. So that's what Yahweh Shai is coming back to do, to put all enemies under his feet, man. All right. The Lord is coming back to put all enemies under his feet. All these other nations are going to be under Yahweh Shai's feet and the elect's feet. All right, the 144,000. All the nation of Israel is going to rule over all these other nations, even the 2/3 when they come back through the loins of the 1/3. You understand? All right. So let's go back to Matthew 3. All right. No, Matthew 24:3, it says, and he sat upon the Mount of Olives. It says, as he sat upon the Mount of Olives, the disciples came unto him privately, saying, tell us, when shall these things be? And what shall be the sign of thy coming and the end of the world? And Yahweh Shai answered and said unto them, take heed that no man deceive you. Yeah, take heed that no man deceive you. All right, that's why you got to study hard. All right, you got to study hard because you could get carried away with the a false doctrine. All right, and the prophets and the servants of the Lord are set up for the defense of the gospel. All right, so we are to stand strong. All right, we are to be rooted in this thing, man. All right, this is why you got to constantly be in the scriptures, day in and day out, man. All right, to the best of your ability. All right. As much as you can. All right. So it says, take heed that no man deceive you. All right. And no man, all right, the elect cannot be deceived. It's impossible. It's literally impossible for the elect to be deceived, man. All right. The scriptures say, if it were at all possible, they shall deceive the very elect, but it's not possible. The elect can't be deceived. That's why they are of the elect. The elect has not been taken away by these false doctrines, man. They had believed on Yahweh Shai. All right. All right, big dog. All right. They had believed on Yahweh Shai, man. All right. They had believed on Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai. All right. They haven't believed in any other names or praised any other names. They didn't fall into these false doctrines and philosophies. All right. Like Catholicism or Buddhism or Christianity, you know, or being God bodies and 5%ers, you know, and any other false doctrine, all right, that tries to exalt itself, all right, against the Most High, all right. It says, verse 4 says, and Yahweh Shai answered and said unto them, take heed that no man deceive you, for many shall come in my name, saying that I am Yahweh Shai, and shall deceive many. Yeah, and you got many people claiming to be the Messiah, man. Throughout years and generations, you have many people claiming to be Hamashiach, all right, claiming to be Yahweh Shai. Even right now, man, you got this one bugged out nigga, all right, known as Yah-Jew, all right, or Yah bugged out, I should call him. Yah bugged out. He been going to every camp, you know, IUIC, WFI, all right, HOI. He been going to all these camps talking about he's the Messiah. He's Yahweh Shai. But yet he knows absolutely nothing about the scriptures. He can't break down no prophecy, none of that, bro. He doesn't know anything about the scriptures. Dude bugged out, man. And then you got people that actually follow him, man. You know, I ought to say, man, that the people that follow him are even more bugged out than he is for following him, actually believing in him, man, thinking that he's the Messiah, bro. You know, that's crazy as hell. All right. Verse 5, it says, for many shall come in my name, saying, I am Yahweh Shai, and shall deceive many, and ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. Yeah, so that's one of the signs of Yahweh Shai's second coming. All right. It's how we know we're very close, man. All right. Yahweh Shai said, you shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. All right. You hear about wars and rumors of wars every single day, man. Every single day. All right. Since this U.S. and Israel war against Iran started. All right. No, ever since you know, the Ukraine and Russian war, all right, World War III rumors you hear about every day have been amping up, man. All right, you've been hearing about World War III way before that, man. Way before that, because the prophets been out here prophesying of this Third World War. Way before that, man. Way before that, man. Right? But ever since this Russian-Ukraine war, every single day you hear rumors about World War III being started, and how tensions are escalating into World War III. If you don't live under a rock, all right, you hear about World War III every single day, man. Every single day. You know, if you're paying attention to what's happening, what's going on. All right. It says, and ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. And again, you hear about wars and rumors of war every single day, man. New wars are popping on this earth every single day. All right. Major wars, civil wars, proxy wars. Tensions are escalating every single day amongst nations all throughout this earth. All right. So it says, and Yahweh Shai answered and said unto them, take heed that no man deceive you, for many shall come in my name, saying, I am Hamashiach, and shall deceive many. And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. So Yahweh Shai said, don't be troubled. And we got to keep that in mind. You know, because you know, you hear about these wars and rumors of war, it might shake you up a little bit. You know, this is why we try to be as diligent as we can. You know, hoping that we're gonna be protected in these last days. We abide in this word, hoping that we're gonna be protected in these last days by Yahweh, by Hashem Yahweh Shai. You know, you gotta gain that confidence, man. You know, it says, see that ye be not troubled. For all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. Yeah, the end is not yet, because there's prophecies that still have to take place. One major prophecy still has to take place. All right, and that's the mark of the beast. All right, the mark of the beast has to be ushered in all throughout this earth. It made mandatory under the punishment of death. Right? That has to be made mandatory, ushered out, and then the nuclear destruction. All right, it's going to come. All right, and it's not going to take too much longer. All right, after the MOTB, the mark of the beast is made mandatory under the punishment of death. Once this thing is ushered out all throughout the four corners of the earth, then the nuclear missiles are going to fly, man. It's not going to take long. Probably like 2-3 months after this thing becomes mandatory is those nuclear missiles going to fly, man. Because things are going to move very, very. That's it. That's the final major prophecy, man. All right. Before the nuclear destruction, all right, which is the mark of the beast, all right, the RFID microchip, all right, because the punishment for taking the MOTB, the mark of the beast, which is the RFID microchip, is to be destroyed by that nuclear fire, all right, known as the second death, all right, known as the lake of fire, all right, you understand? All right, so it says, and ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars, see that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. And that's what we see happening right now. Wars and rumors of wars happening daily, literally daily, day in and day out, right? And it says, verse 7, for nation. Hold on a second, let me let this stop real quick. My tripod almost fell over. All right. I had to hold it real quick. All right. But let's get it. All right. Verse 7. For nation shall rise against nation and kingdom of kingdom. All right. So Yahweh Shai said you're going to hear wars and rumors of wars. All right. Nation shall rise against nation and kingdom against kingdom. That's happening all throughout the four corners of this earth right now as I speak. Nation are rising against nation, kingdom against kingdom. All right. That's all you see. All right. This whole earth is at war right now. Literally, this whole earth is at war. All right. And it's going to keep escalating and escalating until nuclear missiles are shot off. Right. And come down upon this earth. All right. To destroy America. All right. To completely engulf it and swallow it in nuclear destruction. All right. So it says, for nation shall rise against nation and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilences and earthquakes in diverse places. All right. Now this US and Israel war against Iran. All right, now you have Iraq in it. Iraq is also partaking in it. And you also got Russia in it too, because Russia is feeding Iran intelligence. You understand? All right, so all these nations are now involved in this war. You know, and it's only going to keep escalating, all right, until literally this entire earth is in World War III, until nuclear missiles fly and fall upon this earth. Right? It says, for nation shall rise against nation and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines. Now, this Israel, this US and Israel war against Iran, this war is gonna cause a very great famine. All right, it's because that's what's coming, a famine. It's prophecy, and this war is gonna cause that famine, man. All right, this famine is going to become so great and very grievous, all right, that people are going to resort to cannibalism. People are going to eat the flesh of their own sons, the flesh of their own daughters, all right, their friends. They're going to eat their own flesh, right? That's how bad this famine is going to be. So you see all these wars happening right now, all right, and this war is going to cause this famine. And the Lord said you're going to hear wars, rumors of wars, nations rising against nation, kingdom against kingdom. All right, there shall be famines, all right, pestilences and earthquakes. And that's all literally happening right now. All right. If you can see it, if you don't live under a rock, all right, if you know what's going on and know what's happening, all right, you see all this popping off and taking place right now, man. All right. This prophecy that Yahushua is speaking is literally taking place. We're living in that time that Yahushua spoke about, man. We're living in very great times, man. Very beautiful and prophetic times right now, man. See, you people don't know what's going on, man. All right? All you people that walk around and just roam, go about your everyday life, you go to work, you come home, you might go to the gym, watch TV. The average person don't know what's happening, man. They just chilling, man. Not knowing what time they're living in, not knowing that nuclear missiles are getting ready to rain upon this earth. The people are done about here, man. But that's why the Lord got his prophets out here. But only the elect is going to take heed to the word of the prophets, the word of Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai. The 2/3 going to look at us like we crazy, like we bugged out. They going to mock, scorn, and scoff at us, make fun of us, mistreat us, abuse us, right? Sow discord, right? It says, and there shall be famines and pestilences and earthquakes in diverse places. Yeah, you have thousands of earthquakes. A little over 1,000 earthquakes happen weekly, man. So all this is literally going on right now. Everything that Yahushua spoke about, we're living in that time, and it's all happening at the same time, man. We're living in a very, very beautiful prophetic time, man. Very beautiful, man. And very serious and dangerous as well. All right. So it says, all these are the beginning of sorrows. Yeah, everything that's happening right now is the beginning of sorrows. Because if you're paying attention to what's going on, all these nations are in an uproar right now. All right, they're in chaos right now. All right, because you got the Strait of Hormuz that's shut down. All right, which 80% of the world's oil goes through the Strait of Hormuz, man. All right, and now people don't have oil and gas, right? Now the lack of oil is causing blackouts, right? Look at Cuba. All of the island of Cuba is in a blackout right now. Nobody has electricity. All right, this is also going to cause famine. Bro, people are bugging out right now if you're paying attention. Because I'm gonna tell you something, bro. Social media is a better news outlet than mainstream media news that you watch and see on TV. Because people are got their cameras out, they're posting what's going on, what's happening in the real world, when the news ain't even touching on that, man. People are bugging out, man. All right, you see all the storehouses, all the markets are empty. The scriptures talk about how the storehouses shall be empty, man. People are flooding to the markets, man. Because all the catastrophe that's going on in the world. These are the beginning of sorrows, man. Ain't nothing even happened yet. And chaos is all throughout this earth. People are melting down. And what is going to the place that is going to hit the worst is America, man. All right. The Lord is saving the best for last. All right. America is going to get hit the hardest, right? Especially because of the pride. All right. Pride cometh before destruction. People, the most proud people on this earth are Americans, man. No matter what race they are. All right. People walk around these streets in America proud as hell, thinking nothing can happen to this place. They think they're safe, right? Nothing is going to happen to America. It's the good old America, right? Proud as hell. Well, you bet your bottom dollar this whole society is going to collapse, and people are going to erode. The type of chaos, the type of madness and destruction, the type of misery and sorrow and anguish that's getting ready to come upon this earth here in America, in this society, is something that this earth has never seen before. Something that these people least expected is going to be on a level that their minds couldn't have possibly imagined. All right. And we're prophesying and letting you know this is getting ready to come. This is why the elect of y'all that's still out there bullshit. All right. This is why the elect of y'all that's going to take heed to what the prophets are saying, what I'm telling you. All right. Y'all got to come back to Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai now. All right. Now is the time. All right. Not tomorrow. Right. Now is the time. This very second, man. You got to come back to Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai. All right. The Lord said, put not off from day to day. All right. Matter of fact, let's get that scripture. All right. That's the scripture I like to always bring out. Let's get that, man. All right. That's Ecclesiasticus 5. Yeah. All right. Ecclesiasticus 5 and 7. It says, make no tarrying to turn to the Lord, Yahweh. All right. Make no tarrying to turn to the Lord, Yahweh. All right. Don't take your sweet ass time to come back to the Lord, man. Now is the time to receive this truth. Take it and run with it. Never look back. All right. Make no tarrying to turn to the Lord. Don't be slow with it. Don't be slow. Right. Make no tarrying to turn to the Lord Yahweh and put not off from day to day. Yeah. You're not supposed to put the Lord off from day to day. Don't say, oh, when tomorrow comes, that's when I'm going to come back to the Lord. And that's when I'm going to start serving him and worshiping him. And then when tomorrow comes, you say the same thing. You brush it off. Oh, tomorrow I'm going to start worshiping and serving the Lord. Then tomorrow comes again. Oh, tomorrow I'm going to start worshiping and serving the Lord. Don't put off the Lord from day to day, man. All right. Make no tarrying to turn to the Lord Yahweh and put not off from day to day. For suddenly shall the wrath of the Lord come forth. Yeah. A lot of people are getting ready to get caught with their pants down. Right? Because that's what the Lord is getting ready to bring. Very great wrath. Very great wrath. Misery, suffering, mourning, death, destruction. Right? Sorrow, anguish, pain. Right? That's what the Lord is getting ready to bring. Right? So don't take your sweet time to come back to the Lord, because if you do, it's going to be too late and you're going to get caught up in that destruction. You're going to get caught up in that pain, that misery and sorrow and mourning and anguish that's getting ready to come upon America, right? It says, for suddenly shall the wrath of the Lord come forth, and in thy security thou shalt be destroyed. Woo! All right, in thy security thou shalt be destroyed, right? It says, and perish in the day of vengeance. Yeah, so when the Lord, all right, brings his wrath, when he starts visiting up with this earth, which he's doing right now, all right? But what you see right now is the beginning of sorrows, all right? But when the Lord starts to make it rain hell upon this earth, you're going to perish in that day of vengeance. You're going to perish in that madness, right? So let's go back to Matthew 24. Right? It says, all these are the beginning of sorrows. It says, then shall they deliver you up to be afflicted and shall kill you, and ye shall be hated of all nations for my name's sake. Yeah, the true prophets, all right, the true servants of the Lord are ready, are getting ready to go through great persecution. We're already being persecuted, man. All right, by the 2/3, these nations that come against us try to debunk us, right, calling us false prophets, right? You know, that's because they can't handle truth, right? They call us devils and crazy, right? But there's getting ready to be a time when even members of our own household, what did Yahushua say? All right, enemies shall be they of their own household, and ye shall be delivered up. All right, some of our mothers or brothers, all right, even our daughters or sons are they're gonna give us up. You know, our location, tell us where we at, chilling, hiding. And be like, yeah, he's in the room, take him. You know, they're gonna deliver us up. Enemies shall be they of their own household. Our mothers are gonna some of our mothers and brothers, our fathers are gonna cause us to be put to death, man. You know, they're gonna deliver us up, man. All right. So it says, then shall they deliver you up to be afflicted and shall kill you. All right, that goes hand in hand with Revelation, the 2nd chapter, when Yahushua said, the devil shall cast some of you into prison and cause you to be put through tribulation 10 days. Matter of fact, let's get that. All right. All right, Revelation 2. Right, Revelation 2 and 10. It says, fear none of those things which thou shalt suffer here. Right, because what did we just read in Matthew 24? That we shall be delivered up, inflicted. All right, some of us are going to be put in concentration camps. All right, FEMA camps, thrown in prison to be tortured. Right, because we are the true prophets and the servants of Yahweh Bahashim Yahushua. So this is prophecy that's going to fall upon some of the elect. All right, some of us are going to have to be beheaded. Apostle John seen the vision of that in the book of Revelations. All right, that the men of the Lord were going to be beheaded for not taking the mark of the beast, which is the RFID microchip. But so be it, man. You know, I'd rather get my head chopped off for not taking the mark of the beast than for taking it and then drowning in nuclear destruction. You crazy as hell, man. If you think I'm gonna take the mark of the Lord willing, Lord Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai Ratazah, I am of the elect, and Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai Ratazah, all right, Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai pours that spirit upon me to not take the mark of the beast, just to say, F it, man, cut my damn head off, you know, Lord willing, Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai Ratazah, you know. But my mindset right now is you must be crazy out your mind if you think I'm gonna take that shit, man. Cut my damn head off, man. You know, that's a quick death. You know, and the Lord said not to fear the sentence of death. All right, for this is something that shall come upon all flesh, right? But anyway, it says Revelation 2 and 10, it says, fear none of those things which thou shalt suffer. Yeah, because we're gonna be delivered. Some of us are gonna our mothers, our fathers, grandpas, grandmas, right? Our brothers or sisters, or daughters or sons. Some of them are gonna cause us to be delivered, to be afflicted, be thrown in prison, right? They're gonna reveal where we're at. He's over here. Yeah, take him. You know, some of us are making deals. Some of our parents, some of the prophets' parents, sisters, brothers, uncles, wherever, all right, are making deals with Esau, Edom right now. All right, you know, taking the bag right now. All right, it says, fear none of those things which thou shalt suffer. Behold, the devil, which is Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, shall cast some of you into prison that ye may be tried. Yeah, you're going to be tried, right? Your faith is going to be tested, right? That ye may be tried, and ye shall have tribulation 10 days. be thou faithful unto death, and I will give thee a crown of life. So we are to die, all right, for the name of Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai, for his word, his testimony, all right, and for not taking the mark of the beast, man. We are to die instead of taking the mark of the beast, because if you take the mark of the beast, basically that's basically bowing down to Satan, all right. If you take the mark of the beast, you're bowing down to Satan. Satan is your God. You're Satan's bitch. All right. If you take the mark of the beast, man. All right. You a damn fool. All right. You a sellout. All right. If you take the mark of the beast. All right. But the Lord said, all right, be thou faithful unto death, and I will give thee a crown of life. All right. Because some of us are going to be caused to be put to death. All right. For not taking the mark of the beast. You know? Some of us are going to be afflicted and tortured in these last days, the true prophets in the service of the Lord, by teaching this word, by teaching Yahweh, Bahashim Yahweh Shah, right? This true gospel, this testimony, right? So let's go back to Matthew 24. It says, then shall they deliver you to be afflicted and shall kill you. All right. And ye shall be hated of all nations for my name's sake. All right. And that's what comes with being a prophet and a servant of Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shah. That's a good thing. All right. Being hated of all nations, being hated by your own people, your own family and friends. That's a good thing. All right. The Lord said, blessed are they. All right. For blessed are they when men talk about you, talk against you, and revile against you, right? When your own family scoffs and scorns, right? When your own family mocks you. I remember when I first came to this truth, you know, my friends, you know, being stupid as hell, they mocked me, man. They scorned at me. Oh, this nigga think he an Israelite, you know, laughing and making fun of me, man, scoffing and scorning. What's funny is that we're going to have the last laugh, all right? And they're going to be ashamed. They're the ones that's going to get caught up in this famine, right? They're going to get caught up in this misery, this mourning, this death, all right, that's getting ready to come upon America, man. They're going to get caught up in this martial law, all right? So it says, then shall they deliver you up to be afflicted and shall kill you. And ye shall be hated of all nations. Jesus Christ, may God be with you. All right. Damn devil, man. All right. All right. So it says, then shall they deliver you up to be afflicted and shall kill you, and ye shall be hated of all nations for my name's sake. And then shall many be offended and shall betray one another and shall hate one another. Yeah. And that's the time we're living in, man. All right. People are getting ready to be betrayed in these last days, man. All right. Starting with this famine that's getting ready to hit. All right. This famine is going to be so great that people are going to eat the flesh of their own sons and the flesh of their own daughters. All right. That's in the book of Leviticus. That's in the book of Baruch. That's in the book of Jeremiah. Right. That's what's getting ready to come upon this earth. All right, upon America. All right. So let's keep reading. It says, then shall many be offended and shall betray one another. All right. People in this truth are going to betray one another. All right. Men in this truth are going to betray one another, man. In this Israelite ministry thing. All right. You know, you're going to have some people betray one another, man. You know, it says, and shall hate one another, and many false prophets shall rise and shall deceive many. Yeah, and that's going into these Christian pastors, all right, these priests in these Catholic churches, all right, these leaders in Islam, all right, these leaders in Buddhism, all right, all these leaders in all these false all these false religions and philosophies, man. You know? Every Christian pastor is a false prophet, and you also have false prophets in this Israelite ministry, man. All right. IUIC, all right, they're false prophets. All right, ISUPK, they're false prophets. You know, IUIC definitely they doctrine is bugged out. GOCC, all right, they're false prophets. All right. What other groups, man? You know, all these camps that talk about the you know, because the RFID microchip, all right, that is what the mark of the beast is, man. If you're not teaching that the mark of the beast is the RFID microchip, you are a false prophet, man. All right, your doctrine is off, man. All right, that's why we say that Great Millstone and the ones that teaching like manner have 100% truth, right? If you're teaching that that the mark of the beast is not the RFID microchip, right? You're teaching that the mark of the beast is a spiritual thing, right? No, the mark of the beast is an actual physical thing that the elites want to implant under your skin to make you a complete and a complete slave, total control over you, man. Right? That goes into that God complex that Esau Edom has, man. All right. If you're not teaching that the mark of the beast is the microchip, all right, you a sellout, man. You all right. I don't know if the camera caught it, right? So it says, and many false prophets shall rise and shall deceive many. All right. And many are deceived by Catholicism. All right. Christianity, Buddhism, Islam. Right. Or that's all off, man. That's all off, man. All right. The Israelites of Great Millstone and the ones that teaching like manner have 100% truth of the Bible. This is where the true doctrine is, man. All right. Now you got these other Israelite camps, you know, they're teaching, you know, that we are the true Israelites and stuff like that, which we are the true Israelites. They're teaching who our people are and that salvation is only for us, right? You know, which is true. Salvation is only for the nation of Israel, the Negro, Latino, Native American man, and also the elect, you know, that is scattered throughout the four corners of the earth under the other nations, looking like the other nations, right? But they're off in their doctrine when it comes to the mark of the beast. And that's a major critical prophecy, man. And the scriptures say a little leaven leaveneth the whole lump. Meaning if one part of your doctrine is off, that means your whole entire doctrine is off. All right. A little leaven leaveneth the whole lump. So if you got 99% truth and that 1% is false, that makes 100% of your doctrine off, man. All right. So we're supposed to be masters. All right. You're supposed to strive for mastery. All right. Like the scriptures say, strive for mastery. Right. All right. And the scriptures say that the spirit of the Lord shall lead us into all truth, not some truth. Right. All truth. The scriptures say that no lie is of the truth. So if there's one lie in your doctrine, that makes your whole doctrine a lie. No lie is of the truth. A little leaven leaveneth the whole lump, right? So it destroys the whole doctrine if one part of your doctrine is false, right? But anyway, let's keep reading. It says, and because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold. And you're going to see that. All right. You're going to see that happen when this famine pops off. All right. The love of many is going to wax cold, man. All right. People are not going to give a crap about each other in these last days, especially when the famine hits, man. People are going to kill their moms, their daughters, their dads. All right. Their best friends. They're going to kill them just so they can eat them. Right. So they got something to eat. Right. It says, and because iniquity shall, let me let this pass real quick. All right. It says, and because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold. But he that shall endure unto the end, the same shall be saved. Yeah, the prophets, all the prophets that endure unto the end, the same shall be saved. All right. You got to, once you come into this ministry, all right, once you become a prophet, there's no looking back, man. You're at the point of no return. All right. Once you're in this Israelite ministry, this truth, all right, you got to keep teaching and preaching all the way into the end, man, until the Lord shuts the mouths of the prophets, right? Until the prophecy of the word comes, right? When the Lord takes the prophets off the streets and shuts this internet down, right? Until then, man, that's you got to endure until then. Those that endure unto the end shall be saved. You can't become a prophet for 2 years, right? You can't retire and you can't retire a prophet, man. You can't be a prophet for 15 years, right? And then think just because you put 15, 20 years in, you good. Nah, man. You gotta be out on the highways and hedges all the way into the end, man. All the way into the end, you gotta endure, man. All the way to the end, you gotta be in this ministry. You gotta teach, preach, and endure all the way to the end. Those are the people that are going to be saved, man. That's the elect. The elect is not going to stop teaching until, you know, Yahweh Shai puts that spirit. Yahweh Bahashim, Yahweh Shai takes the prophets off the streets, man. All right, you got to endure to the end to be saved, man. Even if you put in 25, 30 years in, you can't retire. All right, you didn't endure until the end. You put your hand to the plow. All right, you're not supposed to draw your sword from. You're not supposed to draw back your sword from blood. All right, you got to endure all the way into the end, and those who endure to the end shall be saved, man. All right, there's no giving up. There's no putting the plow down, right? No putting the sword down, right? It says, but he that shall endure unto the end, the same shall be saved. And this gospel of the kingdom shall be preached in all the world for a witness unto all nations, right? And then the end shall come, all right? That's how we know that Christianity is not the truth, right? Because Christianity been around for what? 2,000 years, almost 2,000 years, right? How come the end hasn't come yet? We just read that the gospel shall be preached into all the world, and then shall the end come. All right, now this truth, all right, that we preach, all right, is now it's reaching all throughout the four corners of the earth, and that's why you see the end. It's about to be here, man. Because things ain't start moving till the Lord rose up Abba Bivens, man. Until the name Yahweh, Bahashim Yahweh Shai was put out. That name was put out into this earth, man. Because when the Lord rose up Abba Bivens, you know, in the 60s, right? That's when the Lord started bringing this man down. That's when America started falling, right? That's when things started happening and moving, right? It says, and the gospel of the kingdom shall be preached in all the world for a witness unto all nations, and then shall the end come. And now you see this gospel that we preach is throughout the four corners of the earth. And that's why now you see Yahweh Shai getting ready to crack that sky, right? You see him getting ready. It's getting ready to pop up, right? Nuclear missiles are getting ready to land upon this earth, all right? But first, all right, big dog. Nuclear missiles are getting ready to be shot off, man, and come upon this earth. But first, what must take place is the mark of the beast, all right? The RFID microchip. And you know, I'll leave it at that. You know, today was a short lesson. You know, I'm gonna head back home, walk back home, and you know, Lord willing, you know, this was pleasing unto Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai, and Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai did, you know, this lesson, you know, was edifying. You know, so I want to say, call Holoyam Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai Bahashim Rakal Quithaj. All right, double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone who have taught me this truth and who will rule well in this truth. Shalom to the 144,000 and the hopeful elect of the nation of Israel that is scattered throughout the four corners of the earth. Peace and mercy unto you, you so-called Negroes, you Latinos, and you Native Americans. You are the true Hebrew Israelites that the Bible speaks of. You are the true chosen people of the book of the Bible. All right. So with that being said, unto the next one, shalom, shalom.